Early today, Russia got hammered by Ukraine, the largest attack on the capital city of Moscow since Russia invaded its neighbor more than 4 years ago.
Ukraine has launched another wave of drone strikes against Russia. This time, the focus shifts deeper, toward Moscow and its surrounding region. Russian air defense systems were activated across multiple zones. Some drones were intercepted. Others reportedly got through. One of the most widely reported incidents involved a fire at an oil facility in the Moscow region. Footage circulating online shows large flames and thick smoke rising from the industrial site. The video spread quickly across social platforms, across international media. This is not just another frontline exchange. This is Moscow, the political center of Russia, heavily defended, closely monitored, and strategically sensitive. That is why even a limited impact in this area carries disproportionate weight. Not necessarily in terms of damage, but in terms of perception. At the same time, the situation on the ground remains more contained than viral footage suggests. Moscow is still functioning. Transport continues. Daily activity continues. But one fact stands out. Some drones manage to penetrate layered air defenses that are designed specifically to prevent this kind of breach. And that raises the next question immediately. How did this happen? And more importantly, what comes next? Russia reacts quickly. Official statements follow. Warnings are issued. A response is promised. This pattern is not new. But the location changes the tone. Moscow changes the tone. Over the course of the war, Russia's responses to major strikes have followed a familiar structure: long-range missile attacks, mass drone waves, strikes targeting infrastructure inside Ukraine, energy systems, logistics hubs, military storage sites, command infrastructure. The logic is consistent. Apply pressure across multiple layers, not just at the front line, but deep inside operational networks. If this pattern continues, the response to the Moscow area strike is likely to follow the same framework. But intensity matters. And symbolism matters even more now. Because when a strike reaches close to the capital, the political threshold shifts. Responses tend to become faster, heavier, and more visible. Not necessarily different in type, but different in scale. This incident highlights a larger shift in modern warfare. Drones are no longer secondary tools. They are now core strike systems. Russia operates a layered air defense network, long-range radar coverage, short-range interception systems, electronic warfare units. A large number of incoming drones are still being stopped, but not all. And this is not a Russia-only problem. It is becoming a global pattern. Small aerial systems, low altitude, hard to track, hard to fully neutralize in saturation attacks. When multiple drones arrive at once, defensive systems are forced into overload conditions. At the same time, Ukraine continues to expand its long-range drone capability. Greater range, larger numbers, more complex routing. The result is a constantly adapting battlefield. One side improves interception, the other side improves penetration. No stable equilibrium has formed, only continuous adjustment. Strike, response, counter-response. The pattern repeats again and again. Each escalation creates the conditions for the next one, but without changing the overall trajectory of the war. What changes is scale and reach. The battlefield is no longer confined to front lines. it expands deeper into rear areas, into infrastructure zones, and increasingly into regions previously considered secure. For civilians, this creates a widening sense of unpredictability. Inside Ukraine, and now increasingly inside parts of Russia as well. The question is no longer whether further strikes will happen. They likely will. The question is how far this escalation cycle can continue before pressure forces a shift, or before one side gains a decisive operational advantage. At this stage, neither outcome is visible, only the continuation of action and reaction. And every new strike adds another layer to that cycle. The situation is still developing. There is no clear end to this escalation. Every action continues to trigger a reaction, and every reaction opens a new phase of the conflict. The real question is no longer who strikes first, but how far this cycle of escalation can go, and at what point it might finally slow down. We invite you to think about this together, to follow each development with a calm and critical mind, and to view this situation from multiple perspectives, not just from one side alone. If you find this analysis valuable, you can support the channel in a simple way, by liking, subscribing, and sharing the video. It helps this kind of content continue to grow. This video is based on publicly available information and open source reports at the time of production. Situations in active conflict zones can change rapidly as new verified information emerges. This content is intended for analysis and educational discussion only and does not support or promote violence or hostility towards any nation or group.